more questions, but we are hoping that discussions throughout the day can really help us to advance our thinking, and ideally to really inspire other people in this room to also take a stronger gender lens in any work that they're doing in relation to resettlement processes. And so to start, we'll have a look at transitional shelter. And so the provision of these transitional shelters, which has largely been in the form of bunkhouses, was undertaken by the government as a means of decongesting evacuation centers in the aftermath of Yolanda, and then also providing shelter to households and families that weren't able to return to their previous homes. Bunkhouses have often exposed underlying patterns of vulnerability. And as such, women have often experienced very tangible protection issues in the bunkhouses. And this has included issues like a lack of privacy, inadequate water and sanitation facilities, as well as an increased risk of gender-based violence. And this has been in relation to things like inadequate lighting around latrines and on pathways, for instance. But both government and NGO actors have responded strongly to these concerns over the last few months, and have done so through several important initiatives that have incorporated gender considerations, like the use of female police officers in transitional sites, as well as the establishment of women-friendly spaces. And so this organizing has really provided opportunities for women's voices to be voiced more strongly, for greater engagement, and for women's leadership in their communities. And so this is a really positive step forward, and our questions now are more around how do we maintain and maximize these emerging leadership opportunities for women, not just in transitional sites, but also as people are moving into more of the permanent resettlement sites. Other questions that we have are around how do we more effectively engage men and boys in addressing protection concerns faced by women, and ensure that men and boys are also promoting greater gender equality, not just in transitional sites, but that they're very engaged in permanent resettlement sites as well. The next area that we'll look at is around resettlement planning. And so during our earlier research that Rhoda mentioned, men and women often voice pretty similar but not identical priorities with respect to resettlement. And so both men and women really focused on the area of livelihoods as a primary concern. But women also often tended to mention and prioritize safety more, as well as access to basic services. And some of the women who responded to our survey also expressed concerns about their ability to maintain social relationships with family and community once they're in the permanent resettlement sites. And the importance accorded to maintaining this proximity to family and friends reflects not just the social needs of women, but also economic ones. Women are often relying on extended networks to help them with issues like childcare, which then enables them to pursue other productive income-generating work outside of the house. And so it's these types of points that we need to take into account with livelihoods planning. It's not just the very visible activities of primary income earners, which are often men, but also a whole range of the productive and care roles that women are playing both inside and outside of the home, and that are really contributing to household income and livelihoods. And so whether it's a support in terms of capitalization for sari stores, or identifying ways of reducing the burden of domestic work on women, these different activities really need to be taken into account with resettlement planning, and there should be targeted supports to ensure that women's work is really more recognized and fully valued.